All right, I'm Jason Snell. I'm an artist and creative technologist with NYU, the ITP program. A little bit about my background. I started producing music in the mid 90s, techno, experimental, hardcore, industrial, some very unpopular niche music. I had a lot of fans in really random small places around the world. I transitioned over to film scores for a few years, 2006, 2009. And I got to a point where I wanted to explore what would be different ways to compose music rather than just using a drum machine or Ableton or synthesizers. And I started first playing around with generative music. This was in 2009 when iOS apps were first, the development kit was released to the public. And then in a very backwards way, I stumbled into an AI because what I was doing was I was documenting and recording the users' taps. So as they were using my app, I was taking that information and instead of using randomized information, I was using their previous choices of what instruments they were choosing, what notes they liked, and started feeding them back into it. And I wasn't doing a direct translation. I was running it through a generative algorithm, so there was some randomization where sometimes the less common ones would win out. And what ended up is this really kind of organic. What surprised me was using this system, I started to do performances with it in kind of these long jam sessions. So essentially, I had this robot bandmate, and when doing we weren't able to compose at the same time. Essentially, I would let the AI compose, and then I turn the knobs and choose the sounds. And if we were both trying to compose at the same time, I think there would have been a real struggle in terms of communicating what's my intention, what's the AI's intention. And so by having distinct tasks, we ended up having this really emergent phenomenon, almost like an organic entity emerging. And I made this, well, I didn't make it, but this AI made this like really nostalgic, beautiful video. I was using processing and it was composing the music. And there was a label that I had been trying to get on, this avant-garde label in Germany for like 2 decades. I still haven't gotten onto that label, but the AI did. And so I felt pretty bummed out that it totally had beat me. And the way it did it is made this like very human, beautiful, I can brag about it because I didn't make it. It made it really beautiful piece of music. I was a little butthurt by it getting onto this label and I didn't, so I switched over to working with people and not working with AI for a period of time. And started working with dancers. So I'd met a dancer in Berlin. She had used motion sensors in the past to control the lights. And she said her real wish was, could she control the music? Could she compose music with her movement? And I was used to doing that in the AI world, decomposing music and reconstruct it in real time. And so I worked with her and worked with several other dancers. This is one in LA, using the Mile wristbands, like someone else had mentioned, and mapping these sounds and movements with the dancer. In this one, he chose the sounds he liked, and then we chose mappings that felt right. And what was cool is we started to see this real powerful biofeedback loop where the dancer just feels super powered. Like they move and compression waves move through the air, and it's just such an empowering thing for them to become the composer. Then I moved from motion sensors to biosensors. So I started making music from thought. I was using EEG and then heart data as well, and really started to get into how the body composes. And this is one of the places where I see AI I haven't seen real access with it yet, is that what if the AI was given EEG data? Because the AIs I've experienced, they examine what the result of the music is, the end result of the musician's work. But what if the AI was given information of what the musician is going through psychologically and physiologically while they're making music and getting excited about it, and recreating the space in which creativity happens? This is a short snippet. In my own EEG work, I would map my brainwaves onto my body, so they would map around me through a projection. It was this mixing of bio art and music and neuroscience. Quite tell that that's me, but that's me. There's my hand. Moving on. So the idea of play. So humans are unique. Like we really can't take care of ourselves for many, many years. Whereas other species, when they're born, they get self-sufficient pretty quick. The point of that is that it allows our brains to have these long periods of time so we continue to have plasticity well into our lives, so we can continue to learn new things and play. And the idea is that we make lots of mistakes, and we have this space where, when we're 1, 2, 3 years old, we don't have to figure out how to like get food and like protect ourselves because we're given this long period of time of play. And so the idea is, what if AIs were given that their original task didn't have to be so functional and so productive, and giving them access to our internal biodata and essentially replicating this growing up experience and what sort of creative solutions could come out of that. All right, that's it. Thank you.